Welcome to our channel. We are so glad you found your way here. Let us help you fall asleep. Let's begin with Vesta's sacred flame, the Roman cost of letting the light go out. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Let the noise of today fall away as we step back, not just hours or years, but centuries, into the vast theater of crime and punishment in ancient Rome. If you genuinely like our videos, please hit like and subscribe. Vesta, the Roman goddess of hearth and home, embodies the essence of domesticity and sacred fire. Revered for her nurturing presence, she stands as a symbol of stability and comfort within the household. Temples dedicated to her were found throughout the ancient world, with the most prominent located in the Roman Forum, where her eternal flame burned brightly, signifying the security of the state. Her priestesses, known as the Vestal Virgins, played an essential role in maintaining this sacred flame, ensuring that it never extinguished. This duty was of great importance, as the flickering fire represented not only the warmth of home, but also the continuity of family and the protection of the city. The rituals surrounding Vesta's worship were steeped in tradition, highlighting the deep connection between domestic life and civic duty. In ancient Rome, neglecting the flame was seen as a dire omen, suggesting that the favor of Vesta could be lost. Such a loss would bring about consequences, not merely for individuals but for the entire community, reflecting the interdependence of personal and communal well-being. This relationship between the goddess, her flame, and the Roman people illustrates a complex web of reverence that permeated daily life, underscoring the significance of sustaining that vital spark. Fire held a central place in Roman culture, representing both the divine and the mundane. It served as a crucial element in religious rituals, symbolizing purity and transformation. Altars, adorned with offerings, were tended by priests who ensured the flames remained unwavering, a task considered vital for the community's prosperity. The flickering light of fire provided not only warmth and sustenance, but also a connection to the divine, offering a sense of security amid uncertainty. Domestic hearths played a significant role within households, where the goddess Vesta presided over the flame, embodying the spirit of the home. Families gathered around these fires, their flickering glow a source of comfort and unity. The sacred flame signified continuity, a bond linking generations to their ancestral roots and traditions. In public spaces, fire illuminated the nights, guiding citizens through the darkness. Festivals celebrated its presence, reinforcing community ties as citizens expressed gratitude for the warmth and protection it provided. The extinction of a flame was a dire omen, signaling a disruption in the harmony between the heavens and the earth. This relationship extended beyond mere practicality, embodying the Romans' understanding of life's cyclical nature, where the flame symbolized not only presence but also the ever-looming potential for loss, transformation, and rebirth. The origins of Vesta's sacred flame trace back to the foundation of ancient Rome, where the goddess Vesta embodied the hearth, home, and communal bonds. This flame, maintained within the Temple of Vesta, represented the heart of the city itself, a vital source of warmth and security. The eternal fire was tended by the Vestal Virgins, whose role transcended mere custodianship. They were the living embodiment of Rome's continuity and resilience. Symbolically, the flame served as a reminder of the divine presence that fortified the Roman state. Its flickering light illuminated the collective hopes of the populace, intertwining the spiritual and the civic. The extinguishment of the flame was more than a physical act. It heralded dire omens, signaling potential calamities and the fragility of Roman prosperity. This sacred fire also reflected societal values. Its perpetual nature mirrored the eternal spirit of Rome, a community bound by shared rituals and beliefs. Celebrations surrounding the flame, such as the Vestalia, emphasized the importance of household and state, reinforcing the connection between domestic tranquility and national strength. In moments of crisis, the flame became a touchstone for the citizens, evoking a collective yearning for stability and renewal. Each flicker was a call to remember the past and honor the future, encapsulating the Romans' profound reverence for continuity amidst change. The intricate architectural design of the Temple of Vesta stands as a testament to the Romans' dedication to their deities. Circular in form, it features a domed roof supported by a ring of Corinthian columns, each carved from the finest marble. This structure was not only an aesthetic marvel, but also symbolized the eternal nature of the sacred flame it housed. The flames themselves were tended by the Vestal Virgins, a group of priestesses bound by vows of chastity, whose role was critical in maintaining the sanctity of this sacred fire. Surrounding the temple, a series of altars and shrines further emphasized its religious significance. These offerings served as a reminder of the continual relationship between the divine and the mortal realms. The central hearth, where the flame burned brightly, represented not just the home of the gods but also the heart of Roman society. Its flickering light was a source of comfort and protection, believed to safeguard the city from harm. The rituals performed within these walls underscored the importance of fire in Roman culture. The flame was symbolic of life and prosperity, and its extinguishment was seen as a dire omen. By safeguarding the flame, the Vestal Virgins ensured the stability of the city, intertwining their fates with that of Rome itself. The Vestal Virgins emerged as central figures in maintaining this delicate balance, entrusted with the sacred responsibility of tending the eternal flame. This group, composed of 6 priestesses, dedicated their lives to the service of Vesta, the goddess of the hearth. Their vows of chastity and commitment conveyed a deep reverence for the divine, while also symbolizing the purity and stability essential for Rome's prosperity. Duties extended beyond merely keeping the flame alight. Rituals conducted by these priestesses served as a conduit for divine favor, with offerings made to Vesta during critical times. Each event, from the sowing of seeds to military campaigns, was intimately linked to the health of the flame. An extinguished fire could spell disaster, signaling a disconnection from the spiritual and, by extension, the physical realm. And in times of crisis, the presence of the Vestal Virgins became even more crucial. Their rituals sought to appease the gods and restore harmony within the community. The weight of this responsibility was immense, as their actions directly influenced Rome's fate. Their unwavering commitment to this role instilled a sense of hope and reassurance among citizens, reinforcing the notion that the flame was not merely a flicker of light, but a vital force sustaining the empire's very existence. Rituals surrounding the sacred flame were intricately woven into the fabric of daily life in ancient Rome. Each morning, priests would gather in the temple to perform the sacred rites, ensuring that the divine light remained undiminished. This act was more than mere tradition. It embodied the connection between the earthly realm and the divine. Participants adorned themselves in ceremonial robes, symbolizing purity and dedication, while offerings of grain and wine were presented to appease the deities. On significant festivals, the flame would be paraded through the streets, accompanied by music and chants. Citizens lined the avenues, their faces illuminated by the glow, as the flickering light served as a reminder of the empire's strength and unity. With each procession, The collective spirit of the populace reaffirmed their commitment to the divine. The extinguishing of the flame was an event steeped in solemnity. When the fire faced the threat of dying, rites of purification would be conducted, invoking the favor of the gods. It was believed that such a loss could invite calamity, and thus every effort was made to rekindle the light. In these moments, the flame transcended mere physical existence, embodying the resilience of a civilization that relied on it for guidance, stability, and continuity amid the uncertainties of life. The festival of Vesta, known as Ludi Vestae, marked a significant occasion in the Roman calendar, celebrated with fervor and reverence. This event honored the goddess of the hearth, symbolizing not only domestic warmth, but also the communal spirit of Rome. Rituals performed during these festivities reflected a deep-seated belief in the sacredness of fire, as households and temples alike participated in the renewal of their connection to divine protection. Ceremonies included offerings of food, wine, and flowers, serving to strengthen the bond between the people and their deity. Participants adorned themselves in ceremonial garb, reflecting both the significance of the occasion and their devotion. The flickering flames of the sacred hearth were tended with utmost care of the occasion and their devotion. The flickering flames of the sacred hearth were tended with utmost care, representing the heart of the city and its enduring heritage. Public games and theatrical performances were integral to the Ludi Vestae, providing a platform for artistic expression and communal bonding. These activities reinforced social ties, reminding citizens of their shared responsibilities toward one another and the sacred flame that united them. This collective participation fostered a sense of identity, fortifying the cultural fabric of Rome. The enduring legacy of these celebrations underscores the profound impact of Vesta's flame, illuminating the path for future generations while anchoring the past in a continuum of reverence and remembrance. The flame held a central place within Roman domestic life, often found in homes across the empire. This flickering light symbolized not only the sacred, but also the everyday. Nestled within the hearts of households, it was customary for families to maintain a small hearth, a bastion of warmth and security, serving as a constant reminder of Vesta's protective presence. In these spaces, the flicker of the flame brought together generations. Rituals performed around it fostered a sense of unity as family members gathered to honor their ancestors and seek blessings for the future. The flame's light illuminated the walls adorned with images of deities, reinforcing the connection between the divine and the domestic. The upkeep of this sacred fire was a matter of both reverence and duty. Households would often employ the services of a priestess, ensuring that the flame remained lit and that the household's well-being was safeguarded. In times of uncertainty, such as during political upheaval or personal strife, the hearth became a sanctuary. This connection to Vesta extended beyond mere symbolism. It influenced daily life. The flame was present during significant events, from births to marriages, marking the sacredness of these moments. As such, it became an indelible part of the Roman identity, intertwining the sacred and the mundane in everyday existence. Fire served not only as a source of illumination, but also as a profound metaphor for the dualities of existence. This force represented vitality, warmth, and inspiration, illuminating paths both literal and metaphorical. The flickering flame embodied the essence of life itself, a beacon guiding the spirit through the shadows. In contrast, darkness loomed as a harbinger of ignorance and despair, a void that threatened to extinguish the light. Each flicker and glow symbolized hope, courage, and the divine spark residing within humanity. Rituals surrounding fire became essential, fostering a deep connection to the celestial. Offerings made to the sacred flame expressed gratitude and reverence, acknowledging the thin veil that separated the known from the unknown. Communities gathered around fires, forging bonds strengthened by shared stories and collective experiences. The warmth of the flame provided comfort, even as the encroaching darkness served as a constant reminder of life's fragility. Within every spark lay the potential for renewal, a cycle reflecting the perpetual struggle between light and shadow. This interplay resonated with the human experience, forging a profound understanding of existence's complexities. The sacred flame, ever flickering, encapsulated the essence of resilience, illuminating the path through the labyrinth of human emotion and existence. Vesta's flame held profound significance within Roman mythology, embodying the spirit of the hearth and home. It was said that the goddess herself, Vesta, presided over the sacred flame, ensuring its eternal presence within the confines of the Temple of Vesta in the heart of Rome. This sacred site, revered by many, served as a constant reminder of the divine connection between the people and their domestic sanctity. Legends abound regarding the Vestal Virgins, priestesses dedicated to maintaining the flame's unyielding glow. Chosen in their youth, these women bore the heavy burden of duty, sworn to protect the flame for 30 years. Their commitment was considered essential to the city's prosperity and security. If the flame ever extinguished, it was believed to herald dire consequences, a reflection of the community's spiritual and civic well-being. The stories tell of the trials faced by these priestesses, who navigated the complexities of their roles amid societal expectations. Rituals, including the Vestalia festival, celebrated the flame's enduring presence, drawing citizens to honor their connection to Vesta. It was through these gatherings that the collective memory of the sacred flame continued to thrive, binding together the threads of worship, devotion, and the shared human experience. Such narratives illustrate the intricate weave of belief that formed the foundation of Roman culture. The political significance of the sacred flame extended far beyond mere superstition. It acted as a potent symbol of continuity and stability within the Roman Republic. The eternal fire, tended by the Vestal Virgins, represented the very heart of the city's safety and prosperity. Its flickering light ensured divine favor and protection, fostering a sense of unity amongst citizens and leaders alike. While late Moran, mein flame extinguished, it was perceived as an ominous sign, indicating potential calamity for the state. This phenomenon held significant implications for governing officials, who often linked their political fortunes to the well-being of this sacred symbol. The presence of the flame reinforced the legitimacy of leadership. Its maintenance became an essential duty of the ruling class. Rituals surrounding the flame were meticulously observed, with public ceremonies designed to reaffirm the bond between the divine and the republic. The Vestal Virgins, entrusted with this sacred duty, wielded substantial influence. Their role extended beyond religious observance. It encompassed political maneuvering as well. They often engaged in diplomatic matters, mediating disputes and safeguarding treaties. The flame's enduring glow served as a reminder of their vital contribution to societal cohesion. In this manner, the eternal fire anchored both the spiritual and political realms, illuminating the intricate relationship between governance and divine will in ancient Rome. The responsibilities of the Vestal Virgins extended far beyond the mere act of maintaining the flame. A rigorous set of oaths bound them to their sacred duties, demanding purity, commitment, avort imp suiso, bound them to their sacred duties, demanding purity, commitment, and unwavering dedication. Each virgin vowed to serve for 30 years, a period during which they were expected to remain chaste, ensuring that their devotion remained untainted. This pledge to the Roman state was not only a personal sacrifice, it represented a vital connection between the people and their deities. In service, they performed rituals that included the preparation of offerings and maintaining the hearth, actions imbued with profound significance. The extinguishing of the sacred flame was perceived as an omen, indicating disfavor from the gods. Such events could invoke severe repercussions, not only for the virgins but also for the entire community. Consequently, the failure to uphold their responsibilities could lead to dire consequences, including the harshest punishment of being buried alive. The atmosphere surrounding these sacred obligations was filled with reverence and gravity. Each virgin transformed into a symbol of hope, as their actions were believed to safeguard the future of Rome. The unwavering commitment required of them was a reflection of their integral role in maintaining the favor of the gods, where the sanctity of their service played a critical part in the fabric of Roman society. The rituals surrounding the maintenance of the sacred flame demanded precision and unwavering dedication. Priests, known as the Vestals, were tasked with ensuring that this essential fire never extinguished. Regular offerings were made, consisting of grains and sacred cakes, symbolizing gratitude and reverence to the divine. These offerings were accompanied by prayers, invoking the protection and blessings of Vesta, the goddess of the hearth. The hearth. Careful attention was given to the fire's condition. Each day, the Vestals would inspect its flickering light, ensuring its vitality. A meticulous process involved gathering wood from designated sacred trees, selected for their purity. This wood was then carefully prepared, creating a steady fuel source for the flame. Maintaining the fire required not only physical labor, but also a spiritual connection, as each act was steeped in deep significance. In times of crisis, when the flame flickered uncertainly, rituals intensified. Special ceremonies were conducted, gathering the community to pray for its revival. The collective hope of the populace rested on these sacred practices, reinforcing the bond between the divine and the mortal realm. The flame, embodying the spirit of Rome, served as a constant reminder of their shared duty. This commitment shaped societal norms, where the flickering light represented stability and continuity in an ever-changing world. The flickering light served as a guiding principle in Roman law, intertwining with the very fabric of governance. This connection established a framework wherein the sacred flame represented purity and order, reinforcing the moral and ethical dimensions of legal practices. The Vestal Virgins, tasked with maintaining this flame, held significant influence over legal proceedings, often serving as mediators in disputes. Their presence lent a sense of divine legitimacy to the judicial process, ensuring that decisions were perceived as aligned with the will of the gods. Legal codes began to reflect this intertwining of the sacred and the secular. Laws concerning property rights, marriage, and civic duties often bore the imprint of Vesta's principles. The sanctity of the home was emphasized, highlighting the importance of familial stability and social order. Breaches of these laws were not merely civic infractions, they were seen as offenses against the divine, meriting severe repercussions. The implications were profound. Citizens understood their responsibilities within this framework, fostering a sense of communal identity rooted in reverence for the sacred flame. A society that upheld these principles not only ensured legal compliance, but also strengthened the bonds among its members. The extinguishing of Vesta's flame would signify a dire disruption, prompting fears of chaos and a loss of the moral compass that guided daily life. The cultural exchange between Vesta and her Greek counterpart, Hestia, reveals a profound connection rooted in the ancient understanding of domesticity and communal stability. Both figures embodied the hearth, a sacred space where warmth and safety converged. This region, often regarded as the heart of the home, served as a focal point for family gatherings and the nurturing of bonds. While Vesta's role within Roman society emphasized the state and its collective well-being, Hestia represented the intimate sphere of family life. Rituals dedicated to these deities reflected their significance. In Rome, the Vestal Virgins tended to the eternal flame, ensuring its constant presence as a symbol of prosperity. The sacred rites performed echoed those of Hestia, where offerings were made to maintain the hearth's sanctity. This fidelity to tradition highlighted the shared values between the two cultures, where the flame was not merely a source of light, but a testament to societal cohesion. In both traditions, neglecting the flame portended dire consequences, reinforcing the belief that the gods' favor depended on the citizens' observance of ritual. The intertwining of these narratives illustrates how the understanding of domestic and public spheres were inextricably linked, fostering an enduring legacy that transcended geographic boundaries. Artistic representations of Vesta reveal a rich tapestry of symbolism that deeply influenced Roman culture. Often depicted as a serene figure, she embodies the eternal flame, a representation of domestic harmony and communal stability. These visual interpretations range from simple reliefs on household altars to elaborate frescoes in public spaces, underscoring her significance in both private and civic life. The presence of the flame, central to these depictions, signifies not only the warmth of the hearth, but also the sanctity of family and the collective spirit of the Roman state. In the public sphere, the Vestal Virgins, tasked with maintaining this sacred fire, became symbols of purity and dedication. Their portrayals in art often emphasized their solemnity and the weight of their responsibilities. This connection between the divine and domestic realms highlights how Vesta's essence permeated everyday life. Additionally, the imagery associated with Vesta often includes architectural motifs, such as temples and altars, which serve as physical manifestations of her influence. These structures, positioned strategically throughout the city, served as constant reminders of the importance of maintaining the sacred flame. Through these artistic forms, the legacy of Vesta endures, reflecting the Romans' reverence for the balance between domestic tranquility and civic duty, a balance pivotal to their identity. As the centuries progressed, various factors contributed to the gradual decline of the sacred flame. Shifts in the political landscape weakened traditional practices, leading to a diminished focus on the rituals surrounding Vesta. The rise of new religious beliefs drew attention away from the ancient customs that once held significant societal importance. Followers began to question the relevance of maintaining the flame, viewing it as a relic of a bygone era rather than a vital connection to their heritage. Economic instability further complicated the situation. Resources that once supported the Vestal Virgins and their sacred duties became increasingly scarce. The maintenance of the temple and its rituals required funding, which dwindled as the empire faced external pressures and internal strife. Local communities, once deeply invested in the flame's preservation, found themselves prioritizing survival over tradition. Public sentiment began to shift as well. The growing influence of philosophical schools emphasized reason and skepticism, leading some to dismiss the spiritual significance of the flame. The sacred fire, once a symbol of divine protection and harmony, became overshadowed by competing ideologies that sought to redefine the essence of Roman identity. This confluence of political, economic, and social factors led to a gradual decline in the revered role of the Vestal Virgins. The last recorded Vestal Virgin, known as Caelia, presided over a period marked by uncertainty and turmoil. Historical accounts describe her as both a symbol of resilience and a target of criticism, as the Roman Empire grappled with internal strife and external threats. She navigated through a landscape in which the sanctity of the sacred flame was increasingly questioned. Speculation surrounds her fate, suggesting that the fading reverence for the Vestal tradition mirrored the disintegration of the political and spiritual unity of Rome. Historical texts hint at her struggles to maintain the flame's significance amidst the rise of new beliefs and practices that began to infiltrate the ancient city. The decline of the Vestal order is often viewed through a lens of power dynamics, where the emergence of Christianity began to overshadow traditional Roman religious practices. Caelia's role became emblematic of a conflict between old and new, reflecting the broader societal shifts taking place. The extinguishing of the sacred fire, once a beacon of hope, marked not only the end of an era but also the transformation of Roman identity itself. Saul de Paris. In this context, the last Vestal Virgin serves as a poignant reminder of a time when divine protection was a cornerstone of civic life. The shift in religious paradigms unfolded gradually, with the emergence of Christianity reshaping the very foundation of Roman belief systems. Pagan rituals, once central to communal identity, began to wane in influence as new doctrines took root. This transformation was not merely a replacement of one faith with another. It involved a systematic re-evaluation of sacred customs and the significance of divine intercession. As Christian leaders asserted their authority, temples that had stood for centuries gradually fell into disrepair or were repurposed for worship of the new faith. The rites that had been integral to public life lost their vitality, leading to a cultural dislocation. Traditional festivals, once vibrant occasions for communal gathering, faced suppression or reinterpretation under the lens of Christian morality. The decline of the Vestal Virgins marked a pivotal moment in this transition. No longer were they the guardians of flame, symbolizing purity and continuity. Instead, their absence echoed the fading presence of ancient deities in the hearts of the populace. The rituals that once celebrated the cycles of nature and honored the gods were replaced by narrative-driven sermons focused on salvation and eternal life. In this landscape of change, the remnants of pagan belief persisted in folklore and local customs, subtly woven into the emerging Christian fabric, reflecting the complexity of cultural exchange. The extinction of Vesta's flame marked a profound transformation in religious practice and cultural identity. This sacred fire, tended by the Vestal Virgins, symbolized the heart of Rome and its prosperity. Its unwavering presence was believed to ensure the continuity of the state, intertwining the fate of the city with the divine. With each flicker, it conveyed the resilience of tradition against the encroaching tides of change. The myths surrounding Vesta and her flame provided a rich narrative framework, emphasizing themes of purity, sacrifice, and communal responsibility. Tales of the Vestal Virgins, dedicated to maintaining the sacred fire, illustrated the societal value placed on these priestesses, their lives intricately linked to Rome's fortunes. The extinguishing of the flame, viewed as an omen, reverberated through the community, triggering fears of divine disfavor. As Christianity gained prominence, the gradual decline of these ancient practices reflected a broader historical context, Political and religious shifts rendered the old beliefs obsolete, and the once cherished flame faded into obscurity. The ceremonial extinguishing was not merely an act of removing a fire, but represented a significant cultural erasure, a quiet severing from a collective identity steeped in ancestral reverence. This transition reshaped social landscapes, forging a new path forward while leaving echoes of the past lingering in the shadows. Vesta's sacred flame flickers throughout Roman poetry, embodying the essence of home and the stability of the family unit. This flame not only represents the goddess herself, but serves as a powerful symbol of civic duty and communal identity. Poets employed vivid imagery to evoke the warmth radiating from the sacred hearth, often illustrating the deep emotional ties that bind individuals to their households and the larger social fabric. In the works of poets such as Virgil and Ovid, the flame is a recurrent motif, reflecting the intertwining of personal devotion and public obligation. The imagery captures both the physical presence of the flame and its metaphorical significance. It stands as a beacon of hope and resilience amid the trials of life, with many verses invoking the sanctity associated with maintaining the flame's eternal glow. The symbolism extends beyond individual households. It connects the Roman people to their ancestry and heritage. The rituals surrounding the flame, described with reverence, emphasize the societal belief in Vesta's protective influence. These poetic depictions offer insight into the collective psyche of a civilization that revered tradition while navigating the complexities of change. The continued reverence for Vesta's flame illustrates the enduring nature of cultural identity, even in the face of transformation and uncertainty. A collective memory serves as a vessel for shared experiences, binding communities together in times of upheaval. The extinguishing of Vesta's sacred flame resonates deeply within this region, conjuring feelings of loss and disconnection. This disappearance disrupts the psychological fabric of society, prompting individuals to reflect on their history and traditions. The flame represented not merely a physical presence, but also a symbol of hope and stability, anchoring the inhabitants to their past. As the flicker of Vesta's light faded, anxiety emerged, manifesting in various forms across social interactions. Rituals that once fostered unity began to wane in significance, leaving a void that echoed in the hearts of the faithful. The absence of this emblematic fire became a catalyst for nostalgia, as memories of communal gatherings and solemn ceremonies lingered in the minds of the people. Without the flame, the connection to ancestral practices diminished, leading to an erosion of cultural cohesion. The psychological impact reverberated through generations, altering perceptions of identity and belonging. Individuals grappled with their place in a world devoid of the guiding light that once illuminated their paths. As whispers of the past faded, the significance of Vesta's flame became a poignant reminder of the fragility of cultural continuity, urging a deeper understanding of the role that shared symbols play in the human experience. The role of fire in Roman warfare extended far beyond mere utility. It served as a potent symbol of destruction and renewal, embodying both the ferocity of conquest and the promise of regeneration. The flickering flames of torches illuminated battlefields, casting shadows that danced across the faces of soldiers, instilling a sense of unity and purpose. This illumination was not simply practical. It transformed the night into an arena for valor, marking the moment when bravery eclipsed fear. Siege warfare was heavily reliant on fire, with burning projectiles launched to set ablaze enemy fortifications. These tactics demonstrated a calculated strategy, as flames consumed the protective barriers that once shielded adversaries. The impact of such destruction was profound. eroding morale, while simultaneously reinforcing the resolve of the besiegers. In this context, fire became an instrument of psychological warfare, a harbinger of impending doom. The ceremonial use of fire was equally significant. Sacred flames were often lit before battles, invoking the favor of deities who governed fate and fortune. This ritualistic aspect elevated the act of war beyond the physical realm, intertwining spirituality with the harsh realities of combat. In this duality, fire emerged as both a practical tool and a symbol of the indomitable spirit of Rome, illuminating the complexities of their martial legacy. Archaeological discoveries surrounding Vesta's flame reveal the profound significance of this element in ancient Roman society. Excavations at the Temple of Vesta in the Forum Romanum have unearthed remnants of the sacred hearth, where the eternal flame once flickered. These findings include charred wood fragments, ash deposits, and broken pottery that suggest the ritualistic offerings made to the goddess. The careful arrangement of artifacts indicates a deep reverence for fire as a divine presence, integral to both daily life and religious practice. In the surrounding areas, structures have been identified that served as the homes of Vestal Virgins, the priestesses tasked with maintaining the flame. Their living quarters, adorned with religious iconography, reflect a life dedicated to service and purity. The architectural layout of these spaces reveals the strict regulations governing their existence, highlighting the societal expectations placed upon them. Further afield, offerings found at various sites, such as small votive figurines and bronze objects, illustrate the widespread devotion to Vesta and her flame. Each artifact serves as a testament to the belief that the flame was not merely a source of light, but a vital connection to the divine. These archaeological remnants collectively paint a portrait of a civilization that revered fire as a sacred element, integral to both their spiritual and civic identity. The Vestal Virgins occupied a unique and elevated position within Roman society, serving as both religious figures and influencers of public morality. Their commitment to maintaining the sacred flame symbolized not only continuity with tradition, but also the stability of the state. Each virgin, chosen at a young age, was bound to a vow of celibacy for 30 years. This dedication granted them privileges rarely afforded to women in ancient Rome, such as owning property, making wills, and enjoying a degree of autonomy in a predominantly patriarchal society. This institution thrived in the Forum Romanum, where the Temple of Vesta stood as both a physical and spiritual hub. The virgins, with their white robes and distinct hairstyles, became visible representations of piety and virtue. Their participation in public ceremonies, particularly during the Vestalia festival, reinforced their significance as mediators between the divine and the mortal realm. Their influence extended beyond religious duties. They were often sought after for their counsel by powerful leaders, acknowledged as symbols of purity. Their presence was believed to ensure the favor of the gods, making their status integral to the stability of Rome. The delicate balance they maintained between religious obligations and societal expectations reflects the intricate dynamics of power and devotion in ancient civilization. This devotion found its most sacred expression in the flame that burned perpetually within the Temple of Vesta. Its flickering light symbolized not only the hearth of the household, but also the heart of the state. This flame demanded vigilance and care, embodying the purity that Romans associated with divine favor. To extinguish it was to invite calamity, a notion deeply embedded in the psyche of the populace. The high priestess, the Vestal Virgins, were entrusted with its maintenance, their purity underscoring the sanctity of the flame. The ritual surrounding the flame was steeped in symbolism. Daily offerings and prayers ensured its continued presence, reflecting the community's reliance on divine protection. This region thrived on the belief that the stability of the state hinged upon the sacredness of this fire. Each flicker served as a reminder of the commitment to both the divine and the societal fabric. Viwastavachewa on the Ferushan Smarkes, purity, in this context, extended beyond the physical cleanliness of the flame. It resonated with moral and ethical expectations. The Vestal Virgins, sworn to a life of chastity and service, embodied this ideal. Their roles were paramount, for the fate of Rome was believed to rest upon their ability to uphold this sacred duty. The extinguishing of the flame would not merely signify loss, but herald the end of an era, a quiet but profound shift in the cosmic balance the Romans so diligently preserved. The act of reigniting the sacred flame held immense ceremonial importance, serving as a vital link between the divine and the earthly realm. This ritual was not merely an act of restoration. It embodied the Romans' unwavering belief in their god's favor and the cosmic order. The process began with utmost reverence, as priests donned ornate vestments, symbolizing their role as intermediaries between the celestial and terrestrial. Sacred herbs were meticulously prepared, their scents wafting through the air, infusing the atmosphere with a sense of sanctity. Incense burned slowly, its curling tendrils rising like prayers, melding with the anticipation that filled the gathering crowd. The flickering light of torches illuminated the stone altar, creating a warm glow that contrasted with the cool darkness surrounding it. Chants echoed softly, each syllable a reminder of the divine connection that bound the community together. The flame, once reignited, served as a beacon of hope and continuity. It was believed that the rekindling of fire would not only restore vitality to the city, but also reaffirm the bond shared with the gods, reinforcing the fragile equilibrium of existence. In this ritual, the act of igniting the flame was a profound acknowledgement of the Romans' place within the cosmos, a silent testament to their enduring legacy amidst the vast expanse of time. The sacred flame served not only as a spiritual beacon, but also as a strategic instrument of political power. Its continual presence in the public eye allowed leaders to harness the symbolism of divine favor, presenting themselves as chosen guardians of both the flame and the city. This connection fortified their authority, intertwining governance with the celestial. Ceremonies surrounding the flame became grand displays of loyalty and allegiance, reinforcing the narrative that the fate of the city was inextricably linked to its leaders. During critical moments of political upheaval, the flame's light was used to bolster morale, casting shadows over dissent and discord. Rulers would often invoke the sanctity of the flame in speeches, framing their policies as divine mandates. This manipulation of belief transformed the flame into a tool of propaganda, fostering unity among the populace while simultaneously marginalizing opposition. The importance of the flame transcended mere ritual. It was a reflection of Rome's identity. The preservation of this sacred fire symbolized the continuity of Roman civilization, a constant in times of uncertainty. As the city expanded, so did the narrative surrounding the flame. Adapting to the shifting political landscape, leaders recognized that an extinguished flame could symbolize vulnerability, while its vibrant glow projected strength and stability, reinforcing their hold on power in a world fraught with change. The influence of Vesta permeated Roman festivals and observances, embedding her significance deeply into the cultural fabric. The Vestalia, a sacred festival dedicated to this goddess, unfolded annually in June, lasting for a week. During this time, the Temple of Vesta became a focal point of communal reverence. Rituals surrounding the maintenance of the eternal flame took precedence, emphasizing the connection between the goddess and the hearth of the city. Priestesses known as Vestal Virgins played a central role, their purity and dedication symbolizing the sanctity of the flame. Their presence at these observances underscored the societal importance of Vesta, as they conducted ceremonies to ensure the flame remained unextinguished. Offerings were made, ranging from loaves of bread to wine, reflecting gratitude and invoking the goddess's blessings on the populace. New lamps amidst of vibrant festivities, the blending of religious devotion and social celebration became apparent. This period was marked by processions, music, and merriment, yet at its core lay a solemn recognition of the delicate balance between stability and chaos. Each flickering flame represented not merely the goddess, but also the collective spirit of the Roman people, maintaining continuity amid the uncertainties of life. Such observances fostered unity, allowing citizens to reaffirm their commitment to both Vesta and the ideals she embodied. The warmth of the hearth was paramount in Roman households, symbolizing not merely physical sustenance, but also the emotional and spiritual well-being of the family. Vesta, as the goddess of the hearth, played a central role in this dynamic. Her presence ensured that the sacred flame remained lit, representing the continuity of family ties and the safety of the home. It was believed that neglecting this flame could lead to discord and misfortune, a belief deeply ingrained in Roman culture. The household worship of Vesta involved rituals that reinforced familial bonds. Daily offerings were made, often consisting of simple foods or fragrant incense, highlighting the importance of gratitude and reverence within the domestic sphere. In this environment, the sacred flame served not only as a source of warmth, but also as a spiritual anchor. The family gathered around it, sharing stories, traditions, and aspirations, thus enhancing their collective identity. Within this context, the Vestal Virgins held an esteemed position, safeguarding the flame and, by extension, the very essence of domestic harmony. Their commitment to purity and service reflected the values cherished by Roman society. This connection between Vesta and family dynamics illustrates how deeply interwoven the concepts of home, hearth, and spirituality were in shaping Roman life and identity. The interpretation of Vesta's flame extended far beyond mere symbolism, resonating deeply within Roman philosophy. It represented a vital force, embodying both the purity of the household and the collective security of the state. This eternal flame served as a metaphor for continuity and stability, suggesting that the strength of Roman society depended on the maintenance of its core values. The sacred fire, tended by the Vestal Virgins, became an embodiment of civic duty and moral rectitude. It was believed that the flame's extinguishment would lead to dire consequences, signaling a breakdown of societal order. Philosophers contemplated the implications of this sacred flame on the human condition. It illustrated the tension between individual desires and communal responsibilities, emphasizing the need for balance. The flame called for rigorous discipline and sacrifice, reinforcing the idea that personal fulfillment must often yield to collective well-being. This concept permeated various aspects of daily life, influencing everything from governance to personal relationships. In public spaces, the flame also acted as a rallying point, reminding citizens of their shared heritage. It illuminated discussions on virtue, duty, and the nature of piety, prompting scholars to explore how these themes shaped ethical behavior. Through this lens, Vesta's flame transcended its physical form, becoming a profound symbol of hope, and resilience in the ever-evolving narrative of Roman civilization. The sanctity surrounding the flame imposed rigorous expectations on the Vestal Virgins. These priestesses, entrusted with maintaining the eternal fire, faced severe consequences should they falter in their sacred duty. A failure to uphold this responsibility, such as allowing the flame to extinguish, was viewed as a grave omen, threatening the safety and prosperity of Rome itself. This belief in divine retribution underscored the importance of their role within the religious structure. In instances of negligence, the punishment was harsh and often public. The extinguishing of the flame could result in the priestesses being subjected to a chilling fate. If a virgin failed in her duty, the ramifications extended beyond mere disgrace. The punishment included being buried alive, a grim testament to the gravity of their responsibilities. Such measures reflected the intertwined nature of faith and governance in Roman society, illustrating how the divine was deeply woven into the fabric of civic life. In addition to this, the Vestals were expected to maintain their chastity, reinforcing their commitment to the sacred. Violation of this vow brought similar consequences, reinforcing the idea that personal sacrifice was essential for the greater good. Through these rigorous standards, the Vestal Virgins embodied the delicate balance between divine favor and human fallibility, contributing to the enduring legacy of Vesta's flame within Roman culture. This relationship was foundational, intertwining Vesta's sacred flame with the very fabric of the Roman state. The hearth, symbolizing both domestic safety and civic well-being, served as a constant reminder of the responsibilities held by the Vestal Virgins. Their duty extended beyond mere ritual. It was a form of governance that ensured societal stability. The flame was not merely a source of light, it was perceived as the lifeblood of Rome, a protective force that shielded the city from external and internal chaos. In moments of crisis, the connection between Vesta and the state became even more pronounced. Priests and leaders often turned to the Vestals, seeking their intercession in times of war or famine. Rituals were performed to ensure the flame remained unextinguished, reinforcing the populace's faith in their leaders and the divine favor bestowed upon them. The visibility of the flame in the heart of the city acted as a beacon of hope and resilience, fostering unity among citizens. When the flame flickered or was extinguished, the repercussions were profound. Public outcry and political turmoil ensued, revealing the community's deep-seated dependence on Vesta's presence. This reliance reflected an intricate balance between spirituality and governance, underscoring the vital role that the sacred flame played in the historical and cultural identity of Rome. The sacred flame, a symbol of Vesta, extended beyond its immediate significance, intertwining with the beliefs surrounding other deities. Fire held a multifaceted meaning across various cultures, representing purification, protection, and the divine. In Roman tradition, Vesta's flame was not merely an isolated element. It echoed the presence of other gods and goddesses, each sharing aspects of the divine light. Minerva, goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, often intersected with Vesta's domain, illuminating the connection between intellect and the sacred. The flickering light of Vesta's flame could be seen as a guiding beacon, much like the insight Minerva provided in times of uncertainty. Each entity reflected qualities of the other, reinforcing the belief that wisdom and home were inextricably linked. A volta deity not inextricably linked. In addition, the goddess Fortuna, representing chance and fate, resonated with the sacred flame's unpredictability. The interplay of fortune and the fire symbolized a delicate balance, highlighting the Romans' understanding of life's uncertainties. Rituals dedicated to these deities often invoked Vesta's flame, serving as an offering to ensure harmony within the community. With time, the flame's extinguishment was perceived not only as a loss of Vesta's essence, but also as a potential disruption to the broader cosmic order. This interconnectedness emphasized the flame's essential role in maintaining balance amongst the divine. The evolution of fire worship in ancient Rome reflects a profound reverence for its transformative power. It served not only as a source of light and warmth, but also as a symbol of purity and life itself. Temples dedicated to various deities often contained altars where flames burned ceaselessly, representing the presence of the divine. These sacred fires were tended by priests and priestesses, their maintenance considered a vital duty to appease the gods. Cults dedicated to specific deities like Vesta, the goddess of the hearth, highlighted the significance of fire in domestic and public life. The sacred flame within her temple was believed to safeguard the city, ensuring prosperity and stability for all. Rituals involved offerings and ceremonies, reinforcing communal bonds while invoking divine favor. The observance of fire rituals extended beyond the household. Public festivals celebrated the vital role of flames in agriculture and daily life. While the extinguishing of the sacred flame was seen as an ominous sign, such events prompted widespread concern as they signaled a potential loss of divine protection. This deep-seated belief system reflected a broader understanding of the elements, where fire was intertwined with the fate of the community, influencing their identity and culture. And this way, fire worship remained a cornerstone of Roman spirituality, illuminating their relationship with the divine. The Vestal Virgins embodied the sanctity of fire through their distinctive attire, a visual representation of their sacred duties, dressed in flowing white tunics. These garments symbolized purity, reflecting the Virgins' lifelong commitment to maintaining the eternal flame. The color white, associated with the divine, served to elevate their status within Roman society, marking them as intermediaries between the earthly realm and the gods. Each element of their clothing carried ritual significance. A red girdle, worn around the waist, symbolized the connection to Vesta, the goddess of the hearth. This girdle was a constant reminder of their vows and the seriousness of their role. The intricate adornments and embroidery showcased their elevated position, distinguishing them from the common populace. Their hair was styled in unique ways, often elaborately arranged, which further emphasized their sacred duty. A veil, worn during specific rituals, concealed their hair, representing both modesty and the divine presence they served. The careful maintenance of these garments was essential, as any sign of neglect could be interpreted as a disturbance of the spiritual balance. Every ceremony required these virgins to don their ritual attire with precision, reinforcing the solemnity of their commitment. In this way, clothing became not merely a functional aspect of their lives, but a crucial element of the sacred practices that sustained Rome's spiritual vitality. The sacred flame held significance that extended beyond spiritual practices. Permeating the economic sphere of Rome, it became emblematic of the empire's prosperity and stability, representing the connection between divine favor and commercial success. The flame inspired coinage, with depictions of its flickering light serving as potent symbols of abundance and security. These images reflected the belief that the continued existence of the flame ensured the favor of the gods, which in turn nurtured trade and agriculture. Coins adorned with representations of the flame were widely circulated, reinforcing its association with wealth. Merchants and traders relied on the symbolism to foster trust within their transactions. The presence of such imagery on currency carried implications for the broader economy, creating a tangible link between religious observance and monetary exchange. This relationship encouraged citizens to engage in rituals that honored the flame, further integrating spiritual reverence into daily commerce. The decline of the sacred flame, marked by neglect and disuse, had economic repercussions that reverberated throughout the empire. With the waning of divine favor, confidence in trade diminished, leading to instability. The once thriving marketplaces, filled with the vibrant energy of commerce, faced an uncertain future. In this manner, the fate of the sacred flame intertwined with the very fabric of Roman economic life, revealing the fragile balance between spirituality and material prosperity. The pilgrimage to the Temple of Vesta represented a profound cultural practice steeped in tradition. Each year, throngs of devotees journeyed to this sacred site, carrying offerings intended to appease the goddess and secure her favor. The act of pilgrimage itself was imbued with significance, embodying not only a spiritual quest, but also a communal reaffirmation of beliefs. The journey, often long and arduous, allowed for reflection on personal devotion and societal responsibilities. Ceremonial rites commenced upon arrival. Participants engaged in rituals designed to honor Vesta, often led by priestesses known as Vestal. These women maintained the flame, symbolizing the eternal life of the Roman state. The flickering light served as a reminder of stability and continuity, essential qualities in an empire facing both internal strife and external threats. The rituals, steeped in symbolism, included the presentation of food and flowers, underscoring the connection between the divine and everyday life. Eye for lo. Communal feasting often followed these rites, fostering a sense of unity among the pilgrims. Through shared meals, stories were exchanged, reinforcing cultural identity and collective memory. Each flame tended, each prayer uttered, contributed to the larger narrative of Roman existence. In this sacred space, the intertwining of devotion and daily life became vividly apparent, reflecting the enduring significance of the sacred flame in Roman society. The connection between agriculture and Vesta's flame underscores an essential aspect of Roman life. It symbolized not only domestic stability, but also agricultural prosperity. The flame served as a constant reminder of the divine presence overseeing the fertility of the land. This region, rich with arable soil, thrived under the careful watch of its inhabitants, who understood the importance of rituals in ensuring a bountiful harvest. Farmers would often make their way to the sacred precinct, offering prayers and sacrifices to invoke Vesta's favor. These acts were not merely symbolic. They intertwined spirituality with the practicalities of daily sustenance. The flickering light of the flame flickered, casting warmth and hope upon the fields, reinforcing the belief that divine protection nurtured their crops. Fulsadated by the reverence given to this flame, the cycles of planting and harvesting were mirrored in the rituals performed at the shrine, which emphasized the interconnectedness of community and agriculture. Every grain harvested was seen as a blessing, a direct consequence of Vesta's watchful gaze. Such practices endured for centuries, cementing the flame's role as a cornerstone of Roman agricultural society. Even in the face of changing beliefs, the sacred flame remained a potent symbol of life and sustenance. The geographic location of Vesta's temple played a crucial role in shaping the rituals surrounding her worship. Situated at the heart of ancient Rome, it commanded a central position within the city's religious landscape. This proximity to the Forum and the political epicenter facilitated a unique interplay between civic duty and piety. The temple's location allowed citizens easy access to the sacred flame, reinforcing the connection between divine favor and the health of the state. Surrounding the temple, the topography contributed to the atmosphere of reverence. Elevated ground provided a clear view of the sacred space, symbolizing the lofty ideals associated with the goddess. The surrounding architecture, with its marble columns and intricate carvings, created a physical manifestation of the sanctity that Vesta represented. This environment fostered a sense of community among worshippers, as they gathered to partake in rituals that echoed throughout the ages. The seasonal changes also influenced worship practices. During the cold Roman winters, the flame served not only as a spiritual beacon, but also as a source of warmth and comfort. Additionally, specific festivals marked the agricultural calendar, aligning Vesta's rites with the cycles of nature. Such synchronization reinforced the belief in her vital role in ensuring the prosperity of crops and the sustenance of the populace, emphasizing the delicate balance between divine influence and human reliance. In times of discord, the sacred flame served as a symbol of unity and reconciliation. This ethereal light illuminated the space where grievances were mediated, offering a tranquil setting for dialogue among conflicting factions. Rituals surrounding the flame emphasized its role as a mediator, with participants often invoking its presence to legitimize their appeals to peace. The flickering glow represented divine oversight, instilling hope that resolutions reached would be favored by the deities. Priests, custodians of this revered flame, played a crucial role in these negotiations. Their expertise in interpreting omens and signs from the flame provided a framework within which disputes could be resolved. This region, characterized by its solemnity, became a sanctuary for resolution, where heated discussions transformed into agreements under the watchful gaze of the flame. It was believed that extinguishment of the flame would signal a breakdown of communication, further complicating the delicate balance of power among rival factions. Tronikavol saw as the flame burned steadily. The act of gathering around it fostered a sense of community, encouraging cooperation and shared responsibility. Such gatherings facilitated the exchange of ideas, creating an environment conducive to compromise. In supporting the resolution of conflicts, the sacred flame held a pivotal role during Roman festivals of renewal. This divine fire symbolized hope, unity, and the rejuvenation of communal spirit. Each year, citizens gathered around the flickering light, participating in rituals that not only honored the gods, but also rekindled the bonds among the people. It served as a reminder of their shared identity and purpose. During the festival of Perilia, the sacred flame was central to cleansing rituals. Participants would leap over the flames, believing this act could purify them and bless their homes with fertility and prosperity. The lingering warmth provided comfort, transforming the atmosphere into one filled with optimism and anticipation for the season ahead. These gatherings fostered a connection among individuals, bridging gaps between diverse social classes and reinforcing the collective strength of the community. The flame's flicker illuminated the night, casting shadows on ancient stone structures, while offerings were made to ensure its eternal presence. Priests tended to the fire vigilantly, understanding that its extinction could bring forth calamity. As the flames danced, stories of ancestors were recounted, intertwining the past with the present. In this way, the sacred flame transcended mere illumination, becoming a vital source of cultural identity and continuity within Roman society. The perception of Vesta within the wider context of ancient religions reveals a complex interplay of reverence and practicality. This goddess represented not only the hearth, but also the home, embodying the sanctity of domestic life. Unlike the Olympian deities, whose narratives often showcased grand escapades, Vesta's essence resided in the everyday, fostering a sense of security among the populace. Temples dedicated to her, characterized by their circular design, served as both a physical and spiritual center for communities. Rituals associated with Vesta were quietly vital, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the sacred flame. The Vestal Virgins, charged with its care, held a unique status, bridging the divine with the mundane. Their commitment ensured not merely the flame's physical presence, but its symbolic power, representing the stability of the state itself. In juxtaposition to other deities, Vesta's worship lacked the elaborate myths often found in other pantheons. This absence of grand tales lent a different kind of significance. It emphasized the idea that divinity could thrive in simplicity. In other ancient religions, similar figures existed, often linked to the hearth and home, reflecting universal themes of community and family. Such connections across cultures illustrate a shared understanding of the sacredness of domestic spaces and the essential role of light in nurturing human connections. The transformation of traditional worship during late antiquity reflects profound societal shifts as urban centers evolved into melting pots of diverse beliefs and practices. The decline of venerable rituals often marked the waning influence of established religions, leading to an array of new spiritual movements. In this era, the sacred flame, once a symbol of continuity, flickered in response to changing values and priorities. Communities began to favor more personal and individualized expressions of faith, contrasting sharply with the communal rituals that had previously defined public worship. Temples, once bustling with followers, saw fewer congregants. These changes coincided with the rise of philosophical thought, emphasizing reason and personal ethics over ritualistic devotion. The sacredness attributed to light waned as the celestial bodies themselves became subjects of scrutiny and debate. In this context, the remnants of traditional worship stood as echoes of an earlier time. Shrines fell into disrepair, their significance overshadowed by burgeoning ideologies that espoused new meanings. The once vibrant gatherings around flickering flames gave way to solitary reflection and intellectual discourse. This gradual erosion of communal practices did not signify a loss of spirituality, but rather a transformation, reshaping the landscape of faith to adapt to the complexities of a changing world. The light faded, yet the search for meaning endured in the hearts of many. This search for meaning has left an indelible mark on modern culture, infusing contemporary practices with echoes of ancient rituals. The reverence for Vesta's sacred flame persists, manifesting in various forms, from literature to art, where the symbolism of fire signifies both purity and continuity. The enduring nature of this flame serves as a reminder of the importance of community and the bonds forged in shared belief. These interpretations transcend time, illuminating a path for modern spiritual exploration. In ceremonies and gatherings, flames are rekindled, invoking the warmth of fellowship and the sanctity of promises made. Casual gatherings often incorporate elements reminiscent of the Vestal Virgins, fostering a sense of connection to history and tradition. The legacy of Vesta also influences architecture, inspiring designs that evoke the sanctity of space and the significance of light. Sacred spaces in cities often draw from Roman principles, emphasizing harmony and purpose. This reverence for light extends into the realm of environmental consciousness, where the preservation of natural fire and light sources is celebrated and defended. In philosophical discourse, Vesta's flame emerges as a metaphor for the essence of life, suggesting that the pursuit of knowledge and truth is a sacred endeavor. Cultural narratives continue to weave the significance of this flame into the fabric of human experience, enriching lives while honoring the past. Contemporary interpretations of Vesta emphasize her role as a symbol of the feminine divine, resonating deeply within feminism and gender studies. This perspective highlights the sacred nature of domestic spaces and the importance of women's contributions to society. Often overlooked in historical analysis, Vesta embodies the nurturing and protective aspects traditionally associated with femininity. Yet her influence extends beyond mere domesticity. In academic discourse, Vine worth you pen fine yomen here city. In academic discourse, the flame of Vesta serves as a metaphor for the vitality of women's voices and experiences. Scholars examine how the goddess represents both empowerment and the constraints placed upon women, illustrating a duality that exists within the feminine archetype. The hearth, once a center of domestic life, transforms into a powerful symbol of resilience, where the act of keeping the flame alive signifies not only cultural continuity but also resistance against patriarchy. Gender studies draw parallels between Vesta's eternal flame and contemporary movements advocating for women's rights and equality. The preservation of Vesta's legacy becomes a call to acknowledge and honor the diverse narratives of women's lives throughout history. This exploration fosters a renewed appreciation for the sacred fire, illuminating the paths forged by those who dared to challenge societal norms, thereby kindling inspiration for future generations. In doing so, Vesta remains a vital figure in understanding the complexities of gender and identity in today's world. The sacred flame, tended by the Vestal Virgins, symbolized purity and the continuity of Rome itself. This eternal fire was more than a mere religious artifact. It represented the lifeblood of the city, an emblem of stability and prosperity. Its flickering presence was a promise, an assurance that the divine favor would remain upon the people and their endeavors. The flame's extinguishment was viewed not merely as a ritual failure, but as a harbinger of calamity. Environmental symbolism in ancient Rome intertwined with the sacred flame, illustrating the deep connection the Romans had with their surroundings. The reliance on agricultural cycles was evident in their practices, where successful harvests were celebrated as blessings. In this context, the flame served as a poignant reminder of the symbiotic relationship between the urban population and the natural world. It emphasized the necessity of nurturing both the land and the sacred traditions that sustained it. As urban expansion encroached upon rural areas, the growing disconnect from nature became apparent. This shift underscored the importance of maintaining reverence for the environment. The Vestals, by safeguarding the flame, acted as custodians not only of religious practices but also of a collective consciousness that recognized the fragility of existence. The duality of the sacred flame remains a powerful beacon, illuminating the enduring need for harmony between civilization and the natural order. The concept of eternal light finds its roots deep within the reverence for Vesta, the Roman goddess of the hearth and home. This entity is not merely a symbol, but represents the foundational essence of stability and continuity within society. The flame, tended by the Vestal Virgins, signified not just physical warmth, but also the spiritual and moral compass guiding the Roman people. It served as a reminder of the sacred bond between humanity and the divine. Philosophically, the eternal light implies a persistent search for knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment. It suggests that the illumination of the mind is as crucial as the illumination of the hearth. The flame embodies the belief that understanding the natural world leads to more harmonious living. The extinguishing of this flame could symbolize a disconnection from these ideals, highlighting the dangers of neglecting cultural values in favor of unchecked progress. This region, steeped in historical significance, invites reflection on the consequences of abandoning reverence for nature amidst the advancement of civilization. The historical implications serve as a cautionary tale, reminding future generations of the need to nurture both the material and spiritual aspects of existence. With the flame of Vesta extinguished, a void emerges, echoing through the annals of time, urging a return to the balance that once defined a thriving society. The Vestal Virgins served as paragons of virtue, embodying the moral fabric of Roman society. Entrusted with the sacred flame, their commitment represented an unwavering dedication to the gods and the state. This commitment catalyzed societal expectations, establishing a framework that dictated behavior, purity, and devotion. Each virgin, chosen at a young age, was bound by vows of chastity for a period of 30 years, a commitment that reinforced their role as spiritual guardians. The rituals performed by these women were infused with significance. Daily offerings and the maintenance of the flame were not mere tasks. They constituted the heartbeat of the Roman religious system. The flame itself, a symbol of continuity, required constant vigilance, reflecting the collective responsibility of the community. In this region, the Vestals became embodiments of hope, their presence reassuring citizens that divine favor and stability could prevail. Failure to uphold their vows had dire consequences, not just for the virgins but for the society they represented. Punishments were severe, often resulting in death or exile, highlighting the serious implications of their role. This unwavering commitment to societal expectations reinforced the delicate balance between the divine and the earthly, creating a structured narrative that governed both personal conduct and communal integrity. The legacy of these women lingers, a testament to the intricate interplay of faith and duty. Rituals dedicated to Vesta served as a unifying force within Roman society, binding citizens through shared beliefs and practices. The sacred flame, tended meticulously by the Vestal Virgins, symbolized the heart of the city and its collective identity. It was more than a mere flicker of fire. It represented the strength and continuity of the Roman state. The flame's preservation was seen as essential for the well-being and prosperity of the entire community. In this environment, the rituals conducted at the Temple of Vesta took on profound significance. They were marked by solemnity and reverence, drawing participants from all walks of life. These ceremonies often coincided with important calendar events, reinforcing national unity and collective memory. The act of honoring Vesta was, in essence, an affirmation of loyalty to the state and its values. The communal aspect of these rituals fostered a sense of belonging among the participants. Citizens gathered to observe the sacred rites, reinforcing bonds through shared devotion. The flame, flickering steadily in its sanctuary, became an emblem of resilience amidst external challenges, both natural and political. Through the veneration of Vesta, the Romans not only maintained their spiritual connection, but also solidified their identity, ensuring that the essence of the state remained undisturbed and vibrant. The sacred flame served as a vital symbol of continuity within Roman society. It represented the hearth, a source of warmth and nourishment, binding families together through shared rituals and beliefs. This connection transcended individual households, extending into the broader community, where the flame flickered as a beacon of stability and tradition. Its presence was not merely a ritualistic necessity, it underscored the importance of lineage and ancestral heritage. Families would often gather around their own sacred fires, invoking the spirit of Vesta to protect their homes and ensure prosperity. The flame embodied the generational ties that defined Roman life, illuminating the bonds between ancestors and their descendants. It was believed that neglecting the flame would sever these ties, leading to disarray and a loss of familial identity. The rituals surrounding Vesta were meticulously observed, as the act of tending to the flame became synonymous with nurturing the familial lineage. And in times of crisis, the communal aspect of the flame took on greater significance. It became a collective source of hope, a reminder of the shared past that fortified the present. The ritualistic offerings and prayers recited before the flame reinforced the commitment to uphold one's family legacy and the values that shaped the Roman ethos. The flame, ever burning, symbolized the resilience of both family and state, illuminating the path through generations. This representation of Vesta in Roman sculpture conveys her significance within the pantheon. Often depicted as a modest figure, she embodies serenity and stability. Her presence is characterized by flowing garments that evoke a sense of timelessness, suggesting her role as the guardian of the hearth and home. The sculptures frequently feature the sacred flame, a symbol of her divine essence, meticulously rendered to reflect both its physical form and spiritual importance. Artisans employed various materials, from marble to bronze, capturing the subtleties of her visage. Expressions of tranquility and compassion dominate her portrayal, inviting reverence from those who behold her. In public spaces, these representations served not merely as decorative elements, but as reminders of the societal values anchored in family and community. The architectural settings housing these sculptures often included altars or temples, reinforcing the connection between the divine and the domestic. In these sacred spaces, the flickering light of the flame mirrored the eternal nature of Vesta's influence, guiding and protecting the populace. Rituals performed before her likeness emphasized the centrality of her role in Roman life, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. The enduring legacy of these artistic expressions can be traced through history, illustrating how the reverence for Vesta permeated the very fabric of Roman society. The Vestal Virgins, entrusted with the sacred flame, held a uniquely critical position within this societal structure. Their commitment to maintaining the eternal fire symbolized the city's vitality and stability. Each virgin, selected at a young age, devoted 30 years to their service, a role intertwined with both religious and civic responsibilities. This commitment extended beyond mere worship. It encompassed the protection of the entire populace. This region relied on the virgins to uphold sacred rites that were believed to ensure the safety and prosperity of the city. Regular rituals, conducted with precision and solemnity, reinforced the belief that the well-being of Rome was intrinsically linked to the sacred flame. They engaged in elaborate ceremonies, invoking divine favor and shielding the inhabitants from chaos and misfortune. The extinguishing of the fire, a rare but ominous event, was seen as a direct threat to the city's security. The presence of the Vestal Virgins acted as a stabilizing force amidst the tumult of political and social upheaval. They served as a reminder of ancient traditions, binding citizens together in shared reverence. This enduring connection fortified a collective identity, intertwining the civic duties of these women with the spiritual health of a city that viewed them as both guardians and symbols of its essence, ensuring that the flame of Vesta remained a focal point of hope. The sacred flame served as a potent symbol within Roman drama and theatre, embodying the city's values and cultural narratives. Productions often utilized the flame as a motif representing purity and continuity, with its presence evoking the essence of Vesta's divine protection. The flame became a powerful device for dramatists, allowing them to explore themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and communal identity. In various performances, the act of tending to the flame mirrored the efforts of citizens to maintain social order and moral integrity. Characters often engaged in rituals that reflected the reverence for the flame, illustrating its significance in the everyday lives of the populace. This sacred fire not only illuminated stages, but also symbolized the enduring spirit of the Roman community. Narratives surrounding the flame frequently delved into the tension between personal desires and collective responsibility. The dichotomy of individual ambition against the backdrop of communal duty was a common theme, revealing the complexities of Roman life. The flame's flickering light often represented the fragility of societal cohesion, suggesting that neglect could lead to dire consequences. Through the lens of drama, the sacred flame became a reflection of the communal psyche, a reminder of the delicate balance between personal aspirations and the overarching needs of the city. In this way, theatrical representations reinforced the significance of Vesta's light in Roman culture. The preservation of Vesta's light fell predominantly to the Vestal Virgins, a group of priestesses tasked with maintaining the sacred flame. Their role extended beyond mere custodianship. It represented a social and religious cornerstone of Roman society. These women, selected for their purity and commitment, endured strict regulations governing their behavior and lifestyle, reflecting the gravity of their duties. Entrusted with the flame, which symbolized the eternal health and safety of the city, their maintenance of this fire was paramount. The extinguishing of the flame was seen as a dire omen, signaling potential disaster for the state. This responsibility endowed them with a unique status, affording them privileges not commonly granted to women in other societal roles. Vestal virgins could own property, make wills, and were exempt from the usual societal constraints placed on women, illustrating the complex interplay between gender and spirituality in ancient Rome. Their societal contributions extended beyond religious obligations. The presence of these women at public ceremonies fostered a connection between the divine and the people, reinforcing the notion that their actions directly influenced the favor of the gods. In this way, the maintenance of Vesta's flame not only ensured the vitality of the sacred fire, but also empowered women within a patriarchal framework, highlighting the intricate social dynamics at play. Transformation over time reflects the shifting beliefs surrounding Vesta's worship. Initially, the flame represented a connection to the divine, embodying purity and the essence of home. This aspect of spirituality fostered a deep sense of community among Roman citizens, as the fire burned brightly within the Temple of Vesta, serving as a unifying symbol for families and the state alike. As periods of political upheaval unfolded, the significance of Vesta's flame began to evolve. The rituals associated with her worship became more formalized, emphasizing the need for stability amidst chaos. This transition was marked by the increasing involvement of the Vestal Virgins, whose roles were elevated, transforming them into key figures within Rome's religious and political landscape. Their commitment to the flame became not just a spiritual duty, but also a political symbol, reinforcing the idea of continuity within the empire. During the late Republic and into the imperial period, The worship of Vesta adapted to changing societal structures. With the rise of imperial cults, the focus shifted, diverting attention from traditional deities to the emperors themselves. The sacred fire, once a cherished emblem of domesticity, faced the threat of being overshadowed by these new powers. Each alteration in worship underscored the ever-evolving relationship between religion, governance, and societal norms throughout Roman history. The sacred flame represents a vital component in various religious traditions across cultures, symbolizing purity, divinity, and continuity. In many societies, fire serves as a mediator between the terrestrial and the celestial, illuminating the path for both the living and the deceased. This phenomenon can be observed in Zoroastrianism, where the eternal flame is central to worship, believed to embody the presence of Ahura Mazda. Rituals surrounding the flame reinforce communal identity and continuity, paralleling the Roman practices surrounding Vesta's fire. Akru Sejasi An or Thay. In Hinduism, the Agni, or sacred fire, holds a similarly revered place. It facilitates communication with deities during rituals, embodying transformation and sacrifice. The act of offering to the fire creates a tangible connection between the worshippers and the divine, echoing the sentiments found in Roman customs. Within the indigenous cultures of North America, the use of fire in ceremonies underscores its role in spiritual cleansing and renewal. This shared reverence for fire as a life-giving element reflects broader human experiences, transcending geographical and cultural boundaries. These cross-cultural practices reveal a universal recognition of fire's significance, manifesting in diverse rituals and beliefs. This shared element of sacred flames demonstrates humanity's enduring quest for meaning and connection, bridging gaps between ancient traditions and contemporary spiritual expressions. The flame persistently symbolizes hope, continuity, and the sacredness of life. Archaeological evidence of Vesta's worship reveals a landscape marked by sacred sites and artifacts. Temples dedicated to the goddess, often characterized by their circular design, served as focal points for religious practice. Excavations at these locations have uncovered numerous altars, where offerings were made to sustain the flame. The remnants of these altars, often adorned with inscriptions, provide insight into the rituals and reverence surrounding the goddess. In Rome, the Temple of Vesta in the Forum Romanum stands as a testament to this devotion. Its structure, though now in ruins, retains echoes of the past, with columns that once supported a roof protecting the sacred flame. Artifacts discovered nearby include votive objects, representing the varied supplications made by the faithful. These items reflect personal connections to the divine, showcasing the belief in Vesta's ability to protect homes and families. Other sites, such as the Vestal Virgins' house, further illustrate the community's commitment to maintaining the flame. The remains of this residence indicate the lifestyle of those tasked with guarding the fire, emphasizing their integral role in the religious hierarchy. Such findings indicate a structured approach to worship, with Vesta at the center of both domestic and civic life, reinforcing the intertwining of spirituality and daily existence within Roman culture. The significance of fire within Roman religion transcended mere physicality, representing life, purity, and divine presence. This element served as a conduit between the mortal world and the divine, fostering a deep-rooted sense of connection among the populace. Flames flickering in temples not only symbolized the eternal vigilance of the gods, but also reflected the community's faith and resilience. In these sacred spaces, it was believed that the flame of Vesta embodied the heart of the city, a vital force that must be tended to with utmost care. The extinguishing of this fire was perceived not as a mere mishap, but as a dire omen, foreshadowing calamities. This understanding linked the act of maintaining the flame to the prosperity and stability of Rome itself, signifying that divine favor was contingent on the devotion shown by its inhabitants. The rituals surrounding fire often included offerings and prayers designed to appease the deities and ensure their continued protection. This practice reinforced the notion that the divine and the mundane were inextricably linked, with the maintenance of spiritual rituals directly impacting societal well-being. Each flicker of the flame resonated with the collective psyche, reminding the citizens of their obligations to uphold tradition and honor the sacred forces that governed their lives. Vaulted feuertessards are the Vestal Virgins extended beyond the confines of their sacred duties. It shaped the societal landscape for Roman women. Their status as priestesses conferred a unique form of authority, challenging traditional gender roles. This distinction allowed them to own property, make wills, and engage in legal matters, positioning them as pivotal figures within their communities. The virgins wielded considerable power, effectively serving as mediators between the divine and the mortal realms. Their involvement in public life provided a framework for other women to aspire to greater autonomy. The presence of these priestesses in the heart of the city signified that women could occupy spaces of influence. This paradigm shift encouraged a re-examination of women's roles, prompting discussions about rights and responsibilities in a society where their voices had often been marginalized. As these women tended to the sacred flame, they simultaneously ignited a spark of change. The sacred ritual not only represented their commitment to the gods, but also served as a symbol of resilience and strength. The Vestal Virgins became exemplars of virtue, yet their very existence challenged the status quo, subtly urging society to reconsider the capabilities of women. In this region, the interplay of faith and societal expectations fostered an environment ripe for transformation, gradually reshaping the narrative of women's rights in ancient Rome. The extinguishment of the sacred flame carried profound political ramifications, echoing through the corridors of power in ancient Rome. This sacred fire, which symbolized the city's protection and prosperity, was deeply intertwined with the state's identity. Its sudden absence sent ripples across the political landscape, prompting a re-evaluation of leadership and authority. The loss ignited a discourse surrounding divine favor and the moral standing of the ruling elite. Politicians, acutely aware of the symbolic weight of the flame, found themselves scrutinized for their ability to maintain the city's spiritual essence. The populace grew restless, questioning the competence of their leaders in safeguarding not just physical spaces, but also the sacred aspects of their lives. This environment of uncertainty fostered a rise in populism, as charismatic figures emerged, promising a restoration of the flame and, by extension, the prosperity it represented. Rival factions seized upon the moment, using the extinguishment as a rallying point to galvanize support and challenge the ruling class. Legislative proposals arose, reflecting a thirst for change. These measures sought to realign the relationship between the state and its citizens. In the shadows of the temples, discussions flourished, forging alliances and rivalries that would shape the political narratives of subsequent generations, all influenced by the haunting absence of the flame. The haunting absence of the flame extended far beyond the borders of Rome, permeating the cultural and spiritual landscapes of Europe. Vesta's significance as a symbol of domesticity and sacred fire resonated deeply with emerging civilizations. This reverberation found its way into the pantheon of later European fire deities, where echoes of her essence intertwined with local beliefs and practices. In various regions, fire became an emblem of protection, purity, and community, often represented in goddesses who mirrored Vesta's nurturing attributes. These figures, while distinct, shared an intrinsic connection to the hearth and the sacred flame that once burned brightly in her temples. Such reverence influenced the mythologies of Celtic, Norse, and Slavic traditions, where fire maintained a dual purpose: a source of warmth and light, as well as a conduit to the divine. The rituals surrounding these deities emphasized the importance of fire in domestic settings, reinforcing the notion that it could bridge the earthly and the celestial. Sacred fires were tended to with meticulous care, reflecting the careful stewardship once practiced in Rome. In this way, Vesta's legacy endured, her ideals of vigilance and devotion shaping the very foundation upon which future cultures would build their own narratives around the sacredness of fire, even as the original flame flickered into oblivion. Light and darkness occupied a central role in Roman cosmology, representing not merely opposing forces but integral aspects of existence. This duality permeated religious practices, influencing rituals and the societal understanding of the natural world. Light, often associated with the divine and purity, symbolized knowledge, life, and order. In contrast, darkness embodied chaos, ignorance, and death, a necessary counterpart that defined the boundaries of existence. The sun, revered as a pivotal source of illumination, was personified as Sol, a deity whose daily journey across the sky signified renewal and the cyclical nature of life. This celestial body provided more than just light. It governed the agricultural calendar, dictating the rhythm of planting and harvesting. Its absence at night stirred anxieties, a reminder of vulnerability and the unknown. These themes extended into the realm of the afterlife, where light was viewed as a guiding force leading souls to the Elysian fields, a paradise for the virtuous. Conversely, the obscurity of the underworld, ruled by the shadows of Pluto, represented the ultimate surrender to darkness. Such beliefs not only shaped individual destinies but also unified communities in their shared reverence for the interplay of light and darkness, reflecting the Romans' complex understanding of the universe and their place within it. The Vestal Virgins occupied a unique position within Roman society, serving as both protectors of sacred fire and intermediaries between the living and the divine. Their commitment to maintaining the eternal flame was not merely a ritualistic duty, it symbolized the vitality of the city itself and its connection to the cosmos. This role extended into the realm of the underworld, where myths depicted the sacred fire as a beacon guiding lost souls. Rituals performed by these priestesses often included offerings to the deities of the underworld, acknowledging the delicate balance between life and death. In this context, the flame held profound significance, representing hope amidst darkness. The Romans believed extinguishing this flame would invite chaos and despair, creating a chasm between the earthly realm and the afterlife. The Vestal Virgins, through their purity and unwavering dedication, were thought to possess the ability to influence the fate of souls. Their presence in sacred ceremonies underscored the belief that the living could aid the dead, fostering a sense of continuity between generations. Each flicker of flame was imbued with meaning, a reminder of the cycle of existence and the fragile line separating light from shadow. Through these connections, the Vestal Virgins embodied the Romans' intricate relationship with the universe, illuminating the significance of their sacred duties. The flame represented more than a mere symbol. It was integral to Roman mortuary practices. This aspect of the sacred fire underscored the belief in the continuity of life and the afterlife. The rituals surrounding death often included offerings made before the flame, which served as a conduit between the living and the deceased. It was believed that the flickering light held the power to guide souls, ensuring their safe passage to the realm beyond. Funerary rites, the flame was a critical element, illuminating the path for the departed. Its presence during rituals lent a sense of sanctity, transforming the mundane into the divine. The importance of this fire was evident in the way that families would seek to honor their ancestors, often invoking the Vestal Virgins' guardianship over it to bless their loved ones in the afterlife. This practice reflected a deep-rooted conviction that the spirits of the dead remained active participants in the lives of the living, forever intertwined in the fabric of Roman society. The extinguishing of the flame was a moment laden with significance, signaling not only the end of an era but also the potential disruption of ancestral ties. The loss of this luminous beacon carried with it a profound weight, marking a disconnection from the very essence of Roman cultural identity and continuity. Natural disasters played a significant role in shaping the worship of Vesta, as they disrupted rituals and altered the landscape of religious practice. Earthquakes, fires, and floods frequently struck the heart of Rome, prompting immediate concern for the state of the Vestal Virgins and their sacred duties. These calamities were often interpreted as omens, signaling a need for heightened devotion and appeasement of the divine. In the wake of destruction, the re-establishment of the sacred flame became a priority. The extinguishing of Vesta's fire was seen as a direct reflection of the city's moral and civic health. Each time the flame was extinguished, the weight of expectation fell heavily upon the Vestals, tasked with rekindling it amidst societal anxiety. The restoration of this flame was not merely a ritualistic act. It symbolized resilience and hope. Thousands would gather, drawn by the urgency of their collective faith, seeking reassurance through the reinstatement of the fire. This restoration, however, was fraught with challenges, as the Vestals faced both the physical demands of their role and the psychological burden of public scrutiny. As natural events unfolded, the interplay between divine favor and earthly calamity deepened the connection between the city's populace and their veneration for Vesta, embedding her worship within the very fabric of Roman existence. Without her flame, the citizens faced an uncertain future. The sacred flame served as a beacon of hope amidst turmoil, its flickering light representing resilience in the face of adversity. For the citizens, the flame was a daily reminder of their connection to the divine, a powerful symbol of unity and strength. In times of crisis, it offered reassurance, fostering a collective spirit that helped individuals weather the storms of uncertainty. This region, steeped in tradition, revered the flame not merely as a source of light, but as a manifestation of community values. The rituals surrounding its maintenance became vital, drawing citizens together in shared purpose. Each morning, the flame was tended to with care, its presence a testament to the enduring will of the people. When calamities struck, such as droughts or invasions, the flicker of the sacred flame became more than a physical fire. It embodied an unwavering belief in brighter days ahead. It prompted gatherings where worries were voiced and strength was exchanged. Those who felt the weight of despair found solace in its glow. reminding them that hope could prevail even in the darkest moments. The flame's eventual extinguishment marked not just the loss of a physical light, but also a significant shift in the hearts of the citizens. The absence of its warm glow left a void that echoed through the very fabric of their lives. The impact of this extinguished flame extended far beyond the immediate surroundings, touching various dimensions of modern spirituality. It served as a symbol of purity and devotion, influencing countless belief systems and practices across cultures. This significance is evident in rituals that honor the sacred fire, establishing a connection between the physical and the spiritual realms. Such rituals evoke a sense of continuity, a longing for the presence of something greater than oneself. In contemporary settings, the essence of Vesta's flame can be observed in practices that emphasize inner peace and mindfulness. The flickering of candles in meditation spaces mirrors the devotion once directed towards the goddess. These acts become conduits for nurturing intention and fostering emotional well-being. Communities gather, sharing collective energy reminiscent of ancient gatherings, invoking a sense of unity and purpose. The imagery of the flame also finds itself woven into modern literature and art, serving as a metaphor for resilience and hope in the face of adversity. It represents the light that guides individuals through darkness, reminding them of the importance of maintaining their inner fire. The enduring legacy of Vesta resonates in the hearts of many, illustrating how even the most ancient symbols can shape contemporary spiritual landscapes, fostering a profound connection to the past while navigating the complexities of the present. The future of fire worship remains intricately linked to the teachings of Vesta's sacred flame. This enduring symbol of purity and home continues to offer insights into the human relationship with fire, emphasizing its role as both a source of warmth and a means of spiritual connection. Observations of various cultures indicate a resurgence of interest in fire as a central element of ritual and community bonding. Ceremonies that employ fire often serve as a conduit for collective memory, allowing groups to gather and reflect upon shared values. In these moments, flames flicker in unison, illuminating not only physical spaces, but also the collective consciousness. The sacred fire prompts a reconnection with ancient practices, while fostering a sense of identity in a rapidly changing world. These rituals often prioritize sustainability, reshaping how communities perceive their relationship with the environment. As ecological concerns rise, the lessons from Vesta encourage a mindfulness toward the elements. Fire is revered not solely for its power but also for its fragility, reminding practitioners of the balance required to maintain harmony. Meetings reërschampiotythib and solia fanahiting a mind in harmony. In an era marked by technological advancement and digital distractions, the simplicity of fire worship offers a grounding experience. It invites reflection on the deeper meanings of existence, unity, and the sacredness of shared experiences. Such insights may guide future generations in preserving the essence of fire's role in spiritual and communal life. Maintaining cultural light necessitates an ongoing commitment to the memories and practices that bind communities together. The wisdom embedded in rituals surrounding fire reflects centuries of human experience, suggesting that these traditions serve not only as a source of warmth, but also as a conduit for shared identity. This region, rich with historical significance, illustrates the delicate balance between modernity and ancestral homage, where the flicker of flames can evoke the past while illuminating the path forward. In many societies, the act of gathering around fire signifies more than mere survival. It fosters connection and understanding among individuals. It is within this sacred circle that stories are shared, values are transmitted, and communal bonds are forged. The fading remnants of ancient hearths remind us of the responsibility to nurture these connections, ensuring that the light of culture does not extinguish. The interplay of light and shadow in communal spaces serves as a metaphor for the challenges faced in contemporary society. While technology offers new avenues for connection, it is essential to maintain the essence of these age-old practices. They provide grounding in an ever-evolving world, acting as a beacon of continuity amid change. Preserving this cultural light ensures that the significance of fire remains a vital part of human experience, guiding future generations through the darkness that inevitably arises.